Hi, this is Nilesh Singh, and I'm gonna make a web tutorials series in YouTube, so you can see how to make various web applications. And we will firstly learn how to set up our environment for developing the web application. So our first step will be how to choose that which IDE is the best IDE for developing any kind of web applications. Since I have developed web applications, so I know that Eclipse IDE is a better IDE as compared to NetBeans IDE, IntelliJ IDE, and various other IDEs are available. You all might be knowing about that. But since I have familiar with Eclipse IDE, so I will show you in this tutorial how to install Eclipse IDE, how to download Eclipse IDE, and in that how to develop a dynamic web applications. Actually, we are not doing the coding part in this tutorial. We will just set up our environment so that from the next tutorial onwards, we will understand the concepts of what is servlet, what a JSP is, how it works, and after that, we will try to develop the code also. So firstly, let us start with Google. We will open the Google, and in Google, you have to type Eclipse IDE download. Since I have typed it previously also, so it is showing in the drop down menu Eclipse IDE download. Click on that, and once you have clicked on that, Google will show you plenty of search results. You have to click on the first link, Eclipse downloads. It is the official website of eclipse.org, https eclipse.org. Now you will see plenty of IDs. You can see Java developers ID, Java developers ID, C++, PHP, RCP, RAP, and plenty other stuffs. Since you are a beginner, you all are a beginner, I consider that I am developing these tutorials for beginners only. So we will focus on Java developers, the first link you can see here. And at the right hand side of this link, you can see that it is available in both formats. There is 32-bit also and 64-bit also. So if you are using a 32-bit system, then you must install this one, and if you are using 64-bit system, you must install 64-bit. So since I am using 64-bit system, so I am going to click this link. I have clicked it, and it is loading. Once you click that link, you will see this page, Eclipse download. Select a mirror. You have to select a mirror. Mirror sends you or redirects you to that link from where your download will begin. Once I click this link, my download will start. But since I have already installed it and I have already downloaded it, so I'm not going to do it again for you. You can just click this link and it will be redirected to the download page. You just have, your last action would be clicking this button. After that, you do not have to do anything. Automatically it will start downloading, and depending upon your speed of the internet, it will take about hour and half. That depends on the speed of the net, how much time it is going to take. About 300 MB file size. So once you have downloaded it and installed it, you will see a desktop shortcut created here, Eclipse shortcut. You can see on my screen here, Eclipse shortcut is created here, and to open that, you have to double click it. I am double clicking it, and it is loading like this. It is written here Mars, Eclipse Mars. It means it is the Mars version of the Eclipse IDE. There are plenty other versions available like Luna and Kepler and many other versions. The latest one is Neon, but I have JDK 1.7, so I have installed Mars, previous one. So this is selective workspace. It asks you to select a workspace. Workspace means the place where your all code and all your files are going to be stored by the Eclipse IDE. So by default, it is under your C users documents workspace folder. If you want to change it, then you can browse it, click here, and you can set it in any other directory wherever you want, E drive, C drive, whichever you want, and you can also make a new folder and then click OK. It will be done. Here it will be stored, and after that you have to click OK for Eclipse to start loading. And whenever you start for the first time the Eclipse IDE, it is gonna take some time because it is installing all facets, modules, and all that stuff. So it would take some time whenever you are doing it for the first time. But since I have been doing it every day, so mine is not gonna take much time. It will be loaded soon. You are seeing how fast it is loading. It's not gonna take much time. So, and one more prerequisite for developing any web applications is JDK to be installed in your system. Previously, I have not given any tutorials about installing the JDK because it is quite basic, and in today's world, everyone have installed JDK on their system, so I'm not going to show it. So I pre-assume that you all have installed JDK on your system already. So I have directly downloaded and installed Eclipse IDE, and it is taking a bit more time as expected. System is slow or what? And so it is opening. You can see it is loading. So my tutorial is gonna be about 50 tutorials, and in that you all are going to learn about how to develop various web applications, how to make a JSP page, how to make a servlet, what are the concepts behind JSP and servlet, and after that we will go on to JSTL, Java System Tag Lib, and expression language, and at the last of this tutorial you're gonna study about Struts2 framework. So it is all about J2EE. You are going to understand J2EE in detail with this tutorial as it passes. So now to develop any dynamic web applications, this is the Eclipse main menu. When it opens, Eclipse will look like this. Since I have made various projects, you can see all my projects are at the left hand side, and these are the options available to you provided by the Eclipse IDE, and these are the code. These are the files which I have developed, like web.xml is a file, product detail.java, this is a Java class which I have made. So you can see various files available here. So we will talk about this in detail in my following tutorials. So let's get started. Firstly, you have to click on files. Once you click on files, new, and there are plenty of options available here: application client project, connector project, dynamic web project, enterprise application project. So we are gonna talk about the dynamic web project in this tutorial series. So I'm gonna click on dynamic web project, and if you are using the Eclipse IDE for the first time, then in that menu that might not show, that might show in others, and then you have to type. So you can check that out. And once you click on dynamic web project, you will be redirected to this, and here you have to type the name of your project, whatever name you are about to give. Suppose you are making a website, then you can give the name of that website. Suppose you are making anything, you are making any dynamic web project, then you have to just give it a name. So I'm gonna give it a name as Center 1. Any name you can give, that depends on you. Use the default location, no need to change this. And this is the server, Apache Tomcat. I have Google App Engine configured for my Eclipse IDE. You can see the Google drop down here. I am going to talk about Google App Engine in my next series of tutorials. In this series, we are about to talk about a dynamic web project only, how to make it and what are the concepts behind JSP and servlets. So you have to click on this Apache Tomcat version 8.0, and dynamic web module version will be 3.1. You can see that 3.1 is here. ER membership, no need to touch that. Working sets, leave all other things default. Just target runtime should be Apache Tomcat, any version 7, version 6, and version 8, any version you can select, depends on your JDK compatibility. So after that, click next. This is the source folder where all your Java classes and Java files will be stored. So this is the source folder. After that, click next. Now you have context root home file center 1, which means that your name of the project is home file center 1, and content directory means web content. You can change this name, you can give it any other name. Web content means inside this folder all your HTML, JSP, and images, JavaScript, CSS files will be stored inside this folder, web content folder. So you can rename it or leave it as default. I'm going to leave it default. That depends on you, whatever you want to do. And after that, this is a generate web.xml deployment descriptor. If you want to take it, you can take it. If you don't want to take it, then you have to manually make it. So I recommend you to generate web.deployment descriptor. After that, click on finish. Once you click on finish, Eclipse IDE will generate the code for you. Now I have made several web applications, so I have this much many projects you can see in the project explorer. But since you will be doing it for the first time, or many of you might be doing it like me only, so you have to click this link, and home file center 1, this is your context of this whole project. Now you can see various menus here, various tabs here, and this is a Java resources file where all your Java files will be stored, and this is a source. And once you have a source folder, in that you have to make a package. Inside that package you will store all your Java classes, whatever class your project needs. Now you have to make that, right click on this, right click, and it is loading. Now click on new, and in new you are seeing plenty of options: class, enum, interface, HTML5, JSP file. So we have to make a package, and inside that package we will put all the Java files. So click on package. Once you click on package, now it is a standard convention by Java that you have to make a package a 3 level, like a.b.c. It is a standard convention, so you can give any name you like. I'm gonna give it mega.homefilescent, mega.homefilecenter.co. So you can give any names, any name you want. that depends on you. But remember one thing, that it should be 3 level. 3 level means first level, second level and third level, and after these 3 levels your class will start. Means if anyone wants to access your class, he has to give the address mega.homefilecenter.co. the name of your class. So after that is the way, and you have to click on finish. So once you click on finish, you can see here mega.homefilecenter.code, and this is your package. Inside this package will be all your Java classes. To create any Java class, right click on this, create new, and this is class. You can create Java class from here. How to create class, what to write in that class, what is a class, what is an object, everything will be told in detail from the following tutorials. This was just setting up our environment, and this is the web content folder. You can see, click it on that web-inf folder. Web-inf contains the web.xml. This is a deployment descriptor which we clicked to generate it automatically. You could have done it manually also, but we have done it automatically so that it already generates some code, so that we do not have to write much. Just time saving stuff. If you want, then you can generate it automatically also, or make it automatically also. It is recommended to do it automatically, but if you want to make it manual, then you can do that. So no problem, no issue on that. And inside this web content folder, you have to put all your JSP, CSS, images, and everything other, every front-end things. Front-end things means all things with the client sees in his browser. All those stuffs must be stored in the web content, and all the backend Java files, or any files that is dynamic Java files mainly, those Java files must be stored inside this. For instance, you can see I have this project made already. Click on that. This is web content. Once I click on web content, you can see CSS, CSS2, Flipturn, fonts, images, on all these. These are all CSS folders. These are HTML files, bunch of HTML files, and after that you can see bunch of JSP files. This is JSP, this is JSP, this is JSP. So like this it goes on. And in this project you can see my Java files also, source, my package name, and these are my Java files. So this is the basic setup of the environment. So time is running out, so I have to stop now. From next tutorial onwards, we are gonna see some detailed concepts of how servlets and JSP work, and what are their basic implementations, and we have to write some real code from next tutorial onwards. Thank you all for watching this tutorial.